How to start a business from scratch with no money. This is where I started 10 years ago, and this is honestly my favorite way to build businesses. I'm here to tell you it is possible to start a business from scratch with little to no money. And I'll also tell you that a good portion of businesses that are successful start out this way. So today, I'm going to share the step-by-step process to starting a business without spending any money. I'll be giving you a list of free resources you can use to start bringing in sales and making money right away. And I'll be sharing a list of mistakes I commonly see new business owners make that you'll want to avoid. Hello and welcome to the Income Series, where we discuss business, finance, and investing. I'm Brian Clark. I used to be a nurse anesthetist, a career I left after starting several businesses. If you're not against hitting that like button, go ahead and give it a tap for me and subscribe to my channel. I have a ton of great videos about how to start a business. Now let's jump into it. Here's the biggest tip when it comes to starting a business from scratch with little to no money, and that is to put sales before service. If you understand and learn how to implement this principle, then you can start a business with no money. So let me go into detail about this point because it's probably the most important principle you're going to learn today. A lot of people are used to the idea that they ask for payment only after a service or product is provided. You should not be thinking this way if you don't have a lot of money to get started. If you have a cleaning business, a coaching business, or a nail business, it doesn't matter. You can ask for payment up front, or even just a portion of the payment up front to cover the materials you need to buy for their specific job. And people will agree to this. I don't want you to think that it's that hard to get someone to commit to providing payment in advance before you deliver a service. So I want you to map out what materials or equipment you'll need to get your business started, and then figure out what you can reasonably charge clients. Now, with some businesses, you're simply not going to be able to offer every product or every service you eventually want to implement right away. You may want to open a restaurant, right? That's an example of something that requires a lot of upfront cash. But you don't have to start out with leasing a building, doing thousands of dollars in renovations, and spending thousands on signs and branding. You can simply start out by offering catering services where you get paid in advance for the food that will be served. After you've built up some savings, you can then buy a food truck and after a while move your business into a full restaurant. So you can see even businesses that require some heavy overhead can be rethought and done in stages to reach the end goal. And you can be honest with your customers. As an example, if you just started a car detailing company, you can tell your first client, hey, I just started offering detailing services. I know what I'm doing, but for the first few times, I'll need to be paid in advance so I can buy the cleaning supplies to get your job done. This can also be done with online businesses. In fact, it's normal to pay in advance with most everything online. It's the reason that people are able to scale their online businesses very quickly if they find the right product or service and figure out how to market it. Think about it. If you have someone pay for a product before it's delivered, the biggest limiting factor is cost of conversion, meaning how much it costs you to obtain a customer. Now, we will be discussing free traffic sources for getting sales in a bit, but once you've graduated past that and you have money to advertise, the game will be more about obtaining customers at a price cheaper than the profits you gain from selling the product. Right? If it costs you only $1 in marketing to get a customer, but you make $10 on the sale, then you can scale that extremely quickly. So now that we discussed sales before service, let's talk about free places to gain customers. This one is a little dependent on the type of service or product you offer, and if you're offering it within just your city, nationally, or even internationally. So let's say you're trying to build a local business providing mobile car detailing. Well, there are some very good free customer traffic sources for local mobile services. The one that I would highly recommend is the Google Business Profile that you can create to appear in Google Maps. You may have noticed that when you search for local services, there's what's called a map pack that appears at the top of Google search results. Here they will show the top 3 Google Map results at the top of the first page of Google search, and then you can click on more businesses to see other related companies in the area. You will find that local companies get a massive portion of their business through these Google business profiles if they set it up right and get a few good reviews. I know companies that rely almost exclusively on finding their customers through their Google Map profiles. So considering the fact that this is free, it is definitely something you should look at if you have a local business. And I'll say that again because it's important. If you have a local business, you really need to consider building out a Google business profile and work on getting some positive reviews. Now, there are other places that are great for getting free traffic to your business, so let's go over a few of these. One of the best social platforms for obtaining new customers is Instagram. When you talk with business owners that heavily use social media to get new customers, many of them will tell you that Instagram seems to be the most effective. And the reason for this is because Instagram allows you to easily interact directly with your customers. If you have a product or service you sell, potential customers will often reach out to you through direct messages. From there, you can then work with potential customers and see what products or service best fits their needs that you can provide. If you notice, I don't mention closing the sale with the customer because I don't really view business this way. I say that because I try and focus on sales being based upon communicating how you can meet the needs of the client so they are comfortable buying in the moment, and less focused if you simply can persuade them to buy in the moment. Customers should close themselves. So we talked about how Instagram is great for communicating directly with potential customers, but one of the best things about Instagram is it's a great place to showcase your work. Instagram has kind of turned into an all-in-one platform that lets you showcase your work in the most effective way possible. It's very much a visual public platform that can be used to build trust and explain what you provide. And the other great thing about Instagram is most of the media you need to successfully promote your business can be created using your cell phone. I don't think that can be said about YouTube. Now, I do want to touch on YouTube for a minute. I do think that YouTube can be a great place to get new customers for your business, but it generally requires a little more investment of capital. You'll be hard-pressed to create videos that successfully gain traction on YouTube without decent production quality. Now, I know for myself, there's such strong production quality on YouTube for most any type of information now, that if someone is using their cell phone and phone mic to create a video, I'll generally click off it pretty quickly. The exception to this is if it relates to a very specific search term and there are not many other video options. So the takeaway from this is, yes, YouTube is a free way to get customers for your business, but if you truly are starting from scratch with no money, it might be a piece you add a little later after your business is already earning a little money, so you can buy the proper filming equipment. Okay, let's talk about other free places to get customers. As you've noticed, I've got some really good ones for you. This is one you might have thought of, but Craigslist can be a gold mine for both local and online businesses. Did you know that Airbnb built much of their empire initially through creating a massive number of Craigslist ads? You'll also find there are lots of vendors that sell products nationally but advertise those in local listings on Craigslist. If you've ever searched Craigslist for a couch, you've likely seen an ad that simply has a stock image of a sofa sold on Amazon offering fast delivery. Now, I do need to warn you though, Craigslist is specifically for local market listings. Yes, people try to sell products nationally on Craigslist and can be successful at it, but you'll need to maneuver around their terms of service to make that happen. For that reason, I do primarily recommend Craigslist for advertising local products and services because while you can use it to advertise products you sell on a national scale, it can be a real headache avoiding posts that will get flagged. Now, there's a place that has a ton of eyes in local markets where you can advertise both local and national products and services and that's Facebook groups. Local Facebook groups can be a goldmine for free customer traffic. If you find the right Facebook groups of people interested in what you have to offer, you can easily build rapport until they approach you with interest in what you're selling. All right, so we talked a lot about how to get paid before you provide a product or service, so you can have the capital early on to get the business bootstrapped. We also talked about some really good sources of free customer traffic, but we also need to talk a bit about setting up the fundamentals of your business. Before you start offering products or services, you're going to need to register your business. You can do this by going to your state's website and registering your business online. Depending on the state, you might be able to get this done in 15 to 30 minutes. After that, you can go to irs.gov and apply for an employer identification number, or EIN, which is similar to a social security number that gives your business its own identity. Once you've done this, your business will have its own identity separate from yourself with regards to tax purposes. You can then open a bank account in the name of your business and have that account associated with the EIN of your business. You can also open payment processor accounts such as PayPal, Stripe, and Square using the business identity you just created. This way, people will be able to pay your company by check or online. Now, this is all super important, and I discuss this in more detail in other videos. Now, I have another bombshell secret for you with regards to starting a business without any money. Once you've registered your business with the state and have your EIN, you can often qualify for what's called Net 30 accounts. This is where vendors will provide you upfront with certain products that will allow you to complete your business services, and then you'll have 30 days to pay them for what you ordered. So let's say if you have a car detailing company and you need cleaning supplies and machines, you can likely build a Net 30 account and get these sent to you with a period of 30 days to make payment. There are also what's called Net 60 and Net 90 accounts, where you'll have 60 to 90 days to pay respectively. Even better, if you're able to get a Net 30 and pay off your debts on time regularly, you'll actually be building business credit. And with a little business credit, you soon can apply for a business credit card and small business loan. So you can see, we went from starting with nothing, using free sources to get customers, having clients pay up front, or using Net 30 accounts to get the materials you need up front to provide your services. From this, building business credit, and then moving on to qualifying for business credit cards and loans. I really provided more than just an outline here, but really some quality places to find your first customers and how to get money early on to bootstrap. It doesn't need to be super complicated. You can follow the essential outline I provided. Now remember that none of this is business or legal advice. If you're not against hitting that like button, go ahead and give it a tap. Also, I have a ton of great videos about building businesses and building wealth. So if that stuff interests you, click subscribe. Make sure to watch this video of mine about building a business from nothing and building business credit. And you guys have a great day.